Good afternoon. Today is the 17th of November and I'm by the seaside in Somerset. My lady wife and I have been staying down here overnight, and a friend of ours has been given a new hire car, which is this 2019 Hyundai Kona 1 litre SE. I think it's an SE. I don't have any paperwork to suggest anything else, but it's got the sort of cloth seats in it and no reversing camera, so that's why I assume it is anyway. I don't think this is the base model, which is the S, and it's not a car that I'm overtly familiar with actually, so I thought I'd just do a little kind of video on it. Apologies, it's a bit sort of close today because we're quite close in this car park, but yes, it's a funny looking thing really. Of course you can get this as a hybrid and a diesel and other things as well, fully electric one of course, a Kona EV, but this is the 1 litre I believe SE, which is one of the cheaper cars in the range. For some reason they've left the seat and kind of a sort of funny angle and everything. No floor mats in this particular one. Don't know why you don't get floor mats, but you don't when you hire this particular car. It doesn't feel particularly sort of badly made, but no soft touch materials on the rear door tops anyway. You do get some material here. The doors feel a little bit light. It's possibly, I don't know if they're metal or plastic on this. Sometimes cars these days come with plastic panels. But yes, there we go. Let's take a look in the boot. One of the things I noticed straight away about this car, as opposed to something like an MG ZS, which this directly competes with, is just how small the boot is. Under here there's kind of a sort of place where you can put random bits and pieces, and I think further below here we've actually got a space over spare wheel, but this kind of annoying tray thing, I would get rid of that straight away if this were my car. Drop that back in there. Probably about 320 litres or so. That's not much bigger than an MG3 really. Bit disappointing for a car that is aimed at families. At least you've got a nice conventional tailgate. Got parking sensors, which you're going to need because the rear window is quite small, as in a lot of these type of cars. Hyundai fleet plates, which I approve of very, very much. I like fleet plates on a car. Styling's, I don't know, not particularly to my taste, to be honest. It's a little bit over fussy for me. The Kia Stonic, which is similarly priced to this and is made by what is essentially the same company, looks a lot more sort of conventional and has about the same level of interior space. If we take a look at the front, we can tell straight away that this is one of the fancy hybrid or electric versions. We've got things like a normal place to put the key and a conventional handbrake, and also a 6-speed manual gearbox. I approve of all those things very, very much indeed. Again, we've got these hard plastics on the door, which I think for a car which costs, this one's probably in the region of £18,000 or something like that. And this, is far from the top of the range one. I'm not sure is really what I would expect. Let's see if the dashboard is a bit nicer. No, that's hard as well. Of course, in an MG ZS EV or a SsangYong Tivoli, you would get a soft touch dashboard, and it just, I don't know, people keep saying to me SsangYong and MG, they're not very well kind of made and they're not particularly premium, but this doesn't, to me, feel really particularly premium at all. It is not. I mean, you can get the actual premium model if you want, which would have a few more features in it, but it just feels a little bit cheap and not that impressive. On higher end models, I understand you can get surrounds for the ventilation and things like that. this being a one lower in the range, you've only got manual air conditioning, but again, I approve of that. Don't tend to use climate control too much. And we have, I believe, 2 USB ports, one behind a flap and one there, and a 12-volt socket. That's really good, and an aux input too. This car's for some reason hitted with full hill descent control. I don't know why you do that. I don't think you can get a Kona with 4-wheel drive. But yes, anyway, let's take a look under the bonnet. So this is a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo engine generating about 118 horsepower. As you can see, the car's been somewhere pretty muddy before it's been dropped off at my friend's house. I think the K10T is actually the engine code for this particular engine, which is interesting. I might be wrong about that. Typical in these 3-cylinder turbos is that you've got a load of space kind of around here to work on this engine, should you need to do that. From what I've read, I've not actually driven a car with this engine yet, or would like to do so, but it's not got a counterbalancing shaft like it would have in, say, the 1 litre set Toledo that I have, which generates about 8 less horsepower, so it's a similar power output to this. And of course, this car has an engine that's dropped in all sorts of Hyundai and Kia products, which is the way these days. In terms of the frontal side, I don't really comment on this sort of thing, but I don't like this sort of huge, kind of oversized, I presume that's a fog light. Actually, no, there's fog lights here. So I presume that's the daytime running light, and that's the headlight. I don't really know why you'd need all these 3 bits. It just looks a bit sort of fussy, and this fake vent at the front is just, it's just not to my taste. I mean, this Kia Stonic, which is the car is I think a little bit smaller in terms of the platform, because this is the same platform as the Kia Niro, but it's really, again, it's just not particularly to my taste. Right, you might as well get inside and switch her on. You can see we've got lane keeping assist here. Someone's actually put a footrest in as well, which is nice. Sorry about fingers over lens. So if I put the key in, fortunately it's a conventional key in this car. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Drive safely and obey traffic rules. I certainly will, because I'm not actually driving this car today, because I'm not insured. So no sat nav in this particular model. We have got air conditioning. We have got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is really good. To be honest, you don't really need sat nav if you've got Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Nice feeling steering wheel. That feels okay. Instruments are pretty clear. They've actually got a real temperature gauge as well. That's not too bad. So I switch it on a little bit further. Do I get a little thing in the middle? Oh, system check. That's reasonably nice. I don't know what it's bogging at me for. Yes, so you've got cruise control as well. How does this gearbox feel? Battery discharge warning. Gosh, this has got as many beats and bongs in it as an MG ZS EV. Glove box. I think I might be able to fetch some secret mission documents in there. And overall, it feels fine. The seat's quite comfortable. It's just, this car's not a cheap car. It doesn't start from like £12,500 like an MG ZS would do. Not that anybody buys the base model of those, you understand, but it doesn't feel as high up as one of those either, and there's not as much space in here. You can get that car with a similar engine too, albeit only as an automatic. But yes, the steering wheel and some of the features in here, I'm just not sure there's a huge amount to get excited about. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So there we are. I think that's the Hyundai Kona 1 litre SE. It's not a car that I would be particularly in a hurry to drive, even if I could. I'd much prefer to drive the Stonic, to be honest. The but it even comes with a longer warranty than a Hyundai. Although a 5-year warranty of limited mileage, free vehicle health checks, and breakdown cover for 5 years is pretty good. I think I'd, want to have a look at the Stanley Tivoli that, does many of the same things this does, possibly with worse engines, but nevertheless it is a similar type of car. It's got more space in it. Or the Kia Stonic or the MG ZS. I wouldn't say that this feels particularly higher quality than either of those. I wouldn't say it's bad quality, but I'm just not that impressed with this car, really. I'll ask my friend after they finished their kind of week or so that they're going to have this car what they think, but it's not, in first impressions, possibly something that I would be too excited to own, shall we say. Thank you very much indeed once again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. And I've got a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Or you can contact me via my website. This is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.